Now, nursing is a universal profession which goes by standards and practice, which should be universal. But in my experience, some things are different, especially in a third world country compared to a first world country. So we'll be going deeper, looking at the differences. So stick around, stay to the end. Don't go nowhere, because if you're planning to come to Canada as a nurse, then you will need all this information to be mentally prepared. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you my experience as a Jamaican-born Canadian nurse, the differences, nursing in Jamaica, nursing in Canada, third world country compared to a first world country. Let's get into it. Okay. You know, they say you come to Rome, you do what the Romans do. You must be sick and tired of this phrase because I use it so much in my videos. But it is true. You move to a new country where there are different norms, values, and culture, then you just have to adapt. You just have to fall right in, because you know what? If you don't, you'll be the outcast. You'll be the different person. And you won't fit in. Yes, they say you shouldn't fit in. Some people say stand tall like a pineapple. But in this situation, that's totally different. You have to transform and you have to adapt and adjust in order to thrive here in Canada, especially when it comes down to nursing too. Now, nursing is a universal profession which goes by standards and practice, which should be universal. But in my experience, some things are different, especially in a third world country compared to a first world country. So we'll be going deeper, looking at the differences. So stick around, stay to the end. Don't go nowhere, because if you're planning to come to Canada as a nurse, then you will need all this information to be mentally prepared. So number one, kiss the white uniform goodbye. The white uniforms. Oh my goodness. I think that was one of the first things I was looking forward to. Getting rid of this white uniform, stocking and hat. Yes, before I left Jamaica, it was the full dress code from head to toe. You have to be well dressed as a nurse, and I maintain that. I liked it for a bit because you look so standout, you look so different. You know, everybody know you as a nurse, the way you look and the way you dress, right? But here in Canada, kiss the white uniforms goodbye. Some places wear scrubs depending on where you're working. Some hospitals is scrubs. Some places, like some organization, it is colored, like it goes by the color, so color coded. So I remember when I was working at Canadian Blood Services, the color code was red and black scrubs. So you know that's the uniform for Canadian Blood Services. In the hospitals, some floors, some units might be different. For me right now, for mental health, really, it is mufti. We call you wear business casual. Some people wear scrubs, so scrubs is optional, but scrubs is not mandatory when it comes on to mental. You go see people wearing their scrubs all crushed up. You go see people wear their uniform to work crushed up. Look at them just drag it out of the washing machine, not even run like an iron over it. But as me always tell you, drink your water and mind your business. Everybody is different. They're not like you, right? Number two, you have to be open-minded and prepared to learn everything all over again. Yes, you get your full training in Jamaica, depending on your specialty area that you're coming from. But when you come here and you start working, you have to do a full orientation all over again. And every department, every specialty, every organization is different, right? So they do their own training, different training. So say, for example, when I was in Jamaica, I was trained. So, you know, you finished your RN nursing, general nursing as a registered nurse. And then I went back to be certified in psychiatry, mental health nurse. So that was a 6-month course there in Jamaica. Here, when I came here to Canada, I had to do that all over again. It wasn't recognized here in Canada as a psychiatric mental health nurse. So here I had to do an online certification course all over again to be certified with the Canadian Nurses Association, to be certified as a psychiatric mental health nurse. So any specialty you're coming from there, things are different here. Midwives. Again, you might be a midwife back home in Jamaica, registered nurse midwife. When you come here, you cannot practice as a midwife. You have to go back to school all over again because, as I said, things are different in a first world country compared to a third world country. So it's totally different. So just be open-minded. And again, going through the application process of migrating here, through the nursing board, depending on what provinces you're going through, they'll do your assessment to compare your education from the country you're coming from compared to Canada. I'm specifically talking about Jamaica because that's my experience there. All my general training, education was comparable to the Canadian version here. So I wasn't required to go back to do any further bridging or any further education because my RN training there was compatible with the RN training here. I did my BSCN in Jamaica. So of course, when I came, I automatically became a registered nurse, right? Again, that's different too. If you are a registered nurse from back home and you only have your diploma certification, you don't have a BSCN, when you come here, chances are when they do your assessment, you won't be classified as a RN, but a RPN, registered practical nurses. So back home you have the enrolled nurses and RNs. So enrolled nurses is similar to the RPN, registered practical nurses. There are certain things that the EANs cannot do. There are some things that the RN do. So it's similar. And again, some of the things that are different, that you have to be open-minded to and be trained around that are different is when it comes on to charting, when it comes on to different equipment, when it comes on to best practice guidelines. For example, in lifting a client, turning a client, in Jamaica, you might do it differently, but here there are certain rules and regulations because people, they're very strict. They don't want you to come back at them and see you sue them. So in order to protect themselves, they come up with certain best practice guidelines that they know that they did this. So it's upon you to follow those guidelines. Come back and see you lift a patient, you turn the patient wrong and you hurt your back. They have lifts. They have situations, it's always two persons there turning, lift nobody and all those things. So trainings is a whole new ball game. Charting, again, you might use the paper charting. I'm not sure what type of charting, how you do your charting currently in your country, but here there is a lot of computer. So you have to get used to, if you're not computer literate, you have to get used to that because most of the charting is now on the computer. So you have to learn. We are using Epic, dovetail system here in job. So we use a lot of flow sheet. So the days when you're writing and you have the patient docket and the chart and you write, them days are done. Type. So you have to go learn to type. You have to go learn to do the flow sheet, enter, data entry, data analysis, and all those things. Different. Whole new ball game. Then number 3, there are some mandatory trainings that you have to do depending, again, on where you'll be working. What hospitals, what agencies, what organizations. There is the codes. Each month, some hospitals, they go over codes each month. So there are code whites. Code white is for aggressive clients, violence. This is when it comes on to mental health, we have a lot of code whites. Code blue, when it's breathing, where a patient is unconscious, not breathing, not alert. Then you have code yellow, code gray, code orange, all different codes. So these, again, will be new to you. So be open-minded for ongoing learning. And a lot of these, as I said, are mandatory. You have to do them before you start working because you have to know where you're jumping to. You have to know what to expect. If they say code white and you stand up there and you move, how are you going to know say it's an aggressive patient and you have to go and help out? If you hear code blue, how are you going to know that somebody is unresponsive, unconscious, and they come in with the crash cart. If you hear a code red, it's a fire. So you have to know what to do during a code red. So these situations, these things are mandatory. Okay. Can we talk about the transitions to 12-hour shifts? This hits me. This one was a big pill to swallow because we were doing 8-hour shifts back in Jamaica, and now most of the hospitals they're 8-hour shifts, which means that you work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or that's day shift, and night shift from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So can you imagine 12 hours of night shift? This is my worst experience. Mickey Auntie will tell you how much me hate night shift. I do not like night shift. But you know what? You have to suck salt. You have to creep before you walk. If you walk good, your nose have to run. So I had to go through that phase of doing the things that I didn't like to do until I started walking, until better come. Now I work full days, Monday to Friday, 8 to 4, which we still not even like that because we only get the weekends and the weekend go by so fast. So now I try create my own freedom and flexibility by creating different streams of income and doing other things outside of nursing. Yeah, you have to set up yourself early. Let's get back. I'm detouring. Are you liking this information? Let me know if you're liking it by hitting the like button. Hit the like button and drop a comment. Tell me if you are liking it. Okay? Let me know. Yeah, so as I was talking about shifts. So the shifts, when I was working, it was continental shifts. We call it 3 on, 2 off, or 2 on, 3 off. So for a 2-week period, you will work 7 days and have 7 days off. Usually every other weekend, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So every other weekend, I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, working or off. Then so if you get if you work the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you'll be off Monday, Tuesday, work Wednesday, Thursday, then you're off Friday, Saturday, Sunday the following week. Get it? So you end up working the 7 days for a 2-week period. So some hospitals do it like that, while some does the 4 and 5. So with the 4 and 5, you'll do 2 days and 2 nights, and then you're off for 5 days. That one is sweet because you can travel, you can have a next job, you can do so much thing within the 5 days. But I've never done that one before, but I feel like it's very taxing on the body because by the time you work the 2-day shift, you work the 2-night shift, on the 5th day, you're sleeping and trying to recover from the night shift. So trust me, nursing is burnout, stressed out, enough work. Which comes to number 5, which is the fun part, which you might like more over all the other things, all the other differences that I've just mentioned previously. And that is the different options. Yes. When it comes to different options and different opportunities, now this is where the icing put on top of the cake. The icing take the cake. So, something like so. So you have hospitals, government, some private, you have agencies, you have long-term care homes, you have home care, you have clinics, you have outpatient, inpatient, bedside, and a whole different specialty. Yes, just like Jamaica, where you're coming from, where there's different specialty, mental health, obstetric, pediatrics, and the list goes on. Optical, OR, what else? ER, all those other stuff. Here you have it too, but there's a wider variety, and there is. Yes, sometimes I must mention it's hard to get in because they're going to want your work experience. Canada love to talk about experiences, their previous experiences. But you know what? You get the experience by, I found getting my experience, my very first experience was to work with an agency. So I was working with an agency. Then that agency, I started working as a PSW. I did that in one of my videos here. I will list it of getting your first job and some tips and tricks of getting your first job. So the trick was what I did then, I got in as a PSW, patient support worker, And after I got my RN license, I was able to transition from PSW to RN with that agency. So then when I was ready to branch off into the hospital, I had some Canadian experience already up my sleeve. So I could put that on my resume. The option to go back to school is endless. You can go get a certification. I have a certification in breastfeeding, which I did at a community college, Moa Community College. And also I have my continuing education in mental health and psychiatry, which I did with Canadian Nurses Association. So there's options, endless options and opportunities. You have the freedom to just apply and go do whatever you want to do. You pay for your courses. If you join RNOA and you pay for whatever continuing education that you do, you can claim that after you complete your course, once you provide proof of payment and proof of completion. Okay, so nobody have to approve you to send it to do any course. You go and you apply and you do your thing yourself. That's love about Canada. Number 6. Now this might be a little bit more technical, and this is having a cover letter and writing the appropriate job application. I remember when I just finished Kingston School of Nursing in Jamaica, we're not even doing an application. It was just sent directly to wherever was needed. That time we were bonded for 5 years. So things were different. I'm not sure how it is right now at the current moment, wherever you are. But right now, you have to do your own cover letter and your own job application. And this is sort of tricky. I did a video here on how to write your job application, how to apply for a job. So go ahead, watch that video. Yes, of course, after you finish watching this one to learn how to write your resume. So there are things and there are certain formats of how you should write your resume. So go and familiarize yourself with how the correct way to write your resume. Number 7. Now this, open your ears good. Go for paper and pen and take notes because this is very important. Very important. Number 7. You are accountable and responsible for your own actions. What I said, you are accountable and responsible for your own actions. I just did a video where I mentioned 12 life lessons learned while I'm here in Canada over the last 12 years. And I did mention this in that video. Of course, watch it after you watch this one, where patient comes first. Service, clients come first. If you feel tired, if you feel stressed, if you feel miserable, don't go to work to take it out on the people, on your co-worker or on your clients. They're going to report you and you're going to get yourself in trouble. Right? So make sure if you don't feel good, call in. Take a day off or something, or try to compose yourself before you go in. Control the problems and not carry your problems to work. You know, back home Jamaica, people come and work and then so arrogant and then so stressed out and then take it out on the patients and not come out of it. In Canada, nothing goes under the rug. There are cameras watching you. There are people watching you. They are going to report you and you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to get yourself in trouble. So be mindful, be careful of everything you do. Act, work in dignity and in integrity. Don't go and because you feel safe, especially in the long-term care home, a lot of staffs get themselves in trouble for assault. For assaulting people, clients, because cameras are there and them the most say there are cameras watching them. You get so ignorant and you rough up the poor old people them and slap them up. They're watching you. So please don't come out to Canada and do those things. Another thing, co-workers, they make one little mistake and then go report you. You do a med error, it show up in the system because it's not like we have bulk medication and you're going to serve medication. Clients' names are on it. There are codes. You have to have a password to log in and to take out medication and all those things. So have your head on your body and try not to make any mistakes. They will report you. And when they report you, them are going to report you to the college. See, you know, this is the one in Ontario. Whichever province you go, there is a body responsible for the nurses there. So in Jamaica, you have your friends and your colleagues and your co-workers and everybody take up for you. You're there on your own. May I warn you, you are on your own. So be careful. Can't say me never tell you. May I rub it in. Be careful. Number 8. This one you can calm down a little bit after me come at you so hard. So you know, back home they call you by your last name. Nurse Turner, Nurse Brown, Nurse White. When you come to Canada, they're going to call you by your first name. Don't be alarmed. Don't be surprised when everybody I call you Yashika, I call you Nancy, call you Tasha, Keisha, Melissa, whatever your name is. That's what I call you. And even managers, people in high hierarchy, everybody goes by their first name. Nobody. So again, I did a video here, type of people not to come to Canada. I miss IT, where people have to call you with you get a high from being in that level of hierarchy and that level of position and call you Mrs. Brown, Mrs. White. Drop the ego, because when you come to Canada, they're going to call you whatever your first name is. Sandra, Paula, Patsy, Paulette, whatever it is, they call it by your first name. Okay? So don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. Prepare for that. Number 9. So we're going in waves. Up and down. More serious to less serious. More serious to less serious. You like the video? Comment. Let me know that you like the video. Did you even subscribe? Me notice you know I watch a video, them in the button now. Hit the subscribe button. And you see, after you subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified when I upload the next video. So, number 9, patients have rights. They have all the rights. The right to refuse medication, the right to their privacy and confidentiality, their right to shower if they feel like, the right to refuse, the right to eat, the right to die, the right to refuse care. Patients have their rights. You have to respect their rights and you have to be non-judgmental. There are different religions, different gender, different races, different nationality. They all have their rights. So you have to understand what type of patients you're dealing with and know the rights of these patients. For example, mental health. I worked in mental health in Jamaica for years. Worked in, we call it psych emerge. Client come in, they give them injection. Them no want them medication, you find a way to give them medication because there's no legal rights when it comes on to mental health act and refusing medication and all of that. By the way, at that time when I was there, I don't know what going on now, but at that time, things was different. When I came here and I started working in mental health here, but let me back up a little bit. When I came here and I discovered the system and the different mental health acts and different this, that, when it come on to mental health, I was like, nah, mental health enough for me. I'm not going back into mental health. But I was bribed. My friend dragged me into coming back into mental health. And I went back because it was more familiar and I felt like this is me working in, well, from I did the interview, doing the interview, you know, feeling so very positive after doing the interview that, yes, this job is mine. We don't get the job. So, you know, but the patients have rights. If the patient refuses the medication, you can't hold them down and give them unless the patient is deemed incapable. So if you come, you're in mental health, you have to understand the Mental Health Act. Read and get familiarize yourself with the Mental Health Act here. Whatever specialty you're going in, familiarize yourself because the patients have all the rights. Get me? Okay. Number 10, last one. You come here to work, you not come to look friends. Don't assume the people, the nurses, the team where you work with are your friends. Don't think, say, you're going to share your business with them and them not going to talk back. I've seen this and it irritates me so bad. The very first, coming here, settling. And you see people to continue and things say, yes, of them friend, of them ride or die. And you will sit there, and as the people get up, them gone, they hear them a chat the people business. Something happen, and you hear them gonna report the same somebody where you see them all up and about with. They gonna report the people You have to be careful. Don't tell them too much of your business, because then take you back round and get back at you. Keep your business to yourself. Keep your business to yourself. You come here to work. You're not work. You're not job. Do your work. Don't tell too much of your business. And don't think that if you do something and you tell them, they're going to cover up for you. They're not cover up for you. They're going to report you. So, nobody thinks that nobody are going to sweep it under the corner. If you make any error, everybody are going to know and they're going to report you. Again, when it comes on to CNO or whatever body, nurse's body, depending on the province that you're going, randomly, they will send out, pick a handful of nurses to send out to do review continuing education. I was randomly selected for this a few years ago. How it goes is that you have to review, do some learning, some care plan, and review a whole lot of documentation and a whole lot of things, and you have to send it back into them. So they know that you are keeping up to date with your continuing education. Right? Yes, in Jamaica, I know that you had to do some ongoing hours of education in order to renew your license. Here, they're expecting you to do it independently. So randomly, they'll just pull for you to see if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, keeping up with your ongoing education. So yes, that's it. That's a difference with working in a developed country and an underdeveloped first world and third world country. So let me know, are you looking forward to coming here to Canada to work as a nurse? Initially, you'll hit some roadblocks, some obstacles, but you will be able to thrive. You will thrive and you will succeed. I'm here 12 years after and I'm still going, still nursing. Yes, I'm doing several other things, but I'm still nursing, still in the process, still in the process. So you can do it too. Go ahead, check out my playlist here, Thriving After Migrating to Canada. And you know what I have for you down here in the comments? A packing list. So if you're in the preparation mode of moving to Canada, go download that packing list so you don't left anything behind. Thank you so much for staying to the end. Bye for now.